Open your mouth. Spread your legs. Clear. Let's go.
What up? You already know it's your boy Pistol Pete. Welcome back to Dog in the Yard. Today we got Dejohn Huffman in the building from Brooklyn, New York, Brownsville. The brother came from a broken home, like a lot of us, affected by crack addiction. Why, his only plan was to survive at that point. And why a lot of his brothers also was going through Air Force, Army, law enforcement. The brother one was going to jail on 1 April Fool's Day for allegedly shooting his baby moms, and he went to jail. And with that being said, let's just get right to it, man. You already know your boy Pistol Pete, Dog in the Yard. What up? You already know it's your boy Pistol Pete. Welcome back to Dog in the Yard. Today we got Dejohn in the building, and you can see we got Tone BXO Day in the building. And with that being said, you already know, let's get into this. What up, man?
What's up, my guy? What's happening?
How you been, brother?
Lovely, man. Lovely, bro.
Lovely. How the brothers?
Good.
Good. We peaceful, man.
Yes,
How you
sir.
been, man?
Right now it's been a good experience for me. Been home for almost 5 years now.
Okay.
Came out in 2020, just before the pandemic. Once I got out in January. In March 18th, the whole city was shut down. So I wound up doing 26.9 years and then come out and the whole city locked down. So I went from one prison to another prison, so to speak. But overall, it's been a great experience, man. 5
years, man. I mean, you've been doing good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what it's about, staying home. Tell us a little bit about yourself for those that, for the audience that don't know you, a little bit about, I know you from Brownsville, Brooklyn.
That is correct.
You already know. Shout out to Brooklyn.
Dirty Brownsville, what they used to call it back in the days, But we're gonna rearrange that. We're gonna fix that up a little bit.
Okay.
Never ran.
We're gonna call it Clean Brownsville.
Clean Brownsville. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we definitely gonna redistribute. You know what I'm saying? Some of those titles that's been there. We're gonna clean it up a little bit.
Just a little bit about yourself. Your upbringing.
Yeah.
Where you from. You had your moms, your dad in your house, or single parent. Just tell us a little bit, siblings, a little bit about yourself so we can know.
Definitely. So back in 1976, my parents moved from Fulton Street over to Brownsville. So I was like 4 years old. My parents got married. We moved to Brownsville because our house burned down. Being in the project for the first time, in 4 years old, you don't really see much. You don't know what's going on. Your parents doing good. You think it's a good thing. Fast forward to 1982, almost, I say I was maybe around 10, 12 years old. Parents started, my dad was an old Army veteran. And my mom's, she was just a regular, housemaid, stuff like that. They wound up getting together, and next thing you know, they graduated too, which was dope at the time, right? My dad, Army veteran, so he caught a habit. So in 82, he caught a habit. 84, 85, bass came around. My parents were some of the first bass heads in Brownsville. And from that, we had a spiral. It's 5 siblings. There's 3 sisters, 2 brothers, and one is my little brother. And it seemed like from that point forward, our life took a turn for the worse. It wasn't one of them type of situations where we didn't see the de-escalation of the household. We got a chance to experience it because my dad had 4 cars, all of that when we was younger. And next thing you know, he had no cars. We on foot, we on bicycles. He'd ride me around on bicycles and stuff like that. So, de-escalation came fast. And then fast forward to 89. I'm gonna say 87. I went to Job Corps because I got kicked out of school. I do got to tell you a little about my educational joint. I made it to the 9th grade. Huh? I'm the second oldest.
Okay.
I'm the second oldest sibling. My sister's 11 months older than me. And my first experience in high school didn't last long. I went to Wingate. I wasn't from the Caribbean. I'm from the America, and they hit me with the Yankee boy. So I wound up duffing one of the kids out in school. They kicked me out first week. They sent me over to Maxwell. Maxwell dudes was fighting on the stairs, and they almost pushed me up the stairs. So I grabbed the dude, slung him forward, and pulled myself backwards. He wound up telling the people I jumped him and stuff like that. They kicked me out of that school, so they wound up sending me to redirection. And redirection is back in Brownsville. So I'm in redirection. I'm go there for about a week and a half. And, if nobody ever been to an 800 school back then, they had some real crazy stuff going on in 800 schools. So I lasted for like 2 weeks in 800 schools. So school was over with in the 9th grade, maybe like around 4 weeks. Maybe like 4 weeks in the 9th grade.
You got into it and you got kicked out again.
Yeah, I got kicked out, and that was it. And next thing you know, I started doing what everybody else do around the hood, trying to figure out how I'm going to win. And being in a household where everybody hungry, and your siblings sitting there crying, sitting on the floor looking at you like, yo, where I'm going to eat? Well, yo, I'm hungry. And your parents in the room, geeking. And I was like, nah, I got to do something. So I started watching the kids in the neighborhood, seeing what they was doing, how they was working their stuff. And, they was snatching bags and stuff like that off of Pickens Avenue. And I wound up coming up, snatching my first bag. Deuce had some sneakers and stuff. Took it to the janitor in the building. He gave me $45 for some Pumas. And I was able to feed them for like around 2 weeks. And I think that catalyst right there was the thing that, made crime okay. It made it so I didn't feel bad about doing the stuff that I did. And I think it was approximately 2 years later, after I committed my first crime, that they took my siblings from me. So,
How old you was?
I started off when I was like 12. They took my siblings when I was like 14 and a half.
That must have been hard.
Yeah, it was. They scattered them everywhere. You know how at the time it was BCW. Now they call it ACS.
Okay.
So they took my siblings and basically scattered them everywhere. And for me, my life could have changed at that point had I had a mentor, had I had somebody to guide me. But my mentors were my uncle hustling, family members in the community hustling, and the crackhead pops. And a crackhead mom. So those were my mentors. And it didn't take long before the escalation of robberies / hustling. The robberies wasn't my thing too tough. I wasn't really the type of person that run down on people, but hustling was something I was comfortable with. And in Brownsville, hustling, you had to be that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like if you in Brownsville, you hustling and you ain't ready to sling them rocks. That firearm, you basically, gonna get ate up. So I wound up getting maybe 11 dudes up under me. We was in 419 Blake Avenue. We was on the 8th floor. I had about 11 of the youths with me and a couple of older dudes.
You went outside for real?
Yeah, we was hustling. So, even though I was one of the youngest, I was one of the most, the boldest in that particular area. Because I already experienced so much more than them because of the crackhead household. And to fast forward it to my first arrest, and I was 16, dude gave me a opportunity to take some drugs out to DC. And I think I was 16 at the time. I already been small hustling, buying 8 balls and stuff like that off the street, and getting my little 1s and 2s. And I would say I was afraid to take that trip, but because of what I experienced, it emboldened me to not care. So I wound up taking a load to DC and hustling, and got locked up the first day I was there with everything. They had the stuff in the tennis balls, and I'm out there, don't know nobody, don't know nothing. It was almost like a setup, Like they knew what I had, where I was going, and
they knew the whole thing.
Yeah. So I wonder if the dude that brought me there had something with the police. I'll give you one, and you let me rock. Because that's what it felt like. And I wound up doing 8 months in a juvenile detention center and close to Beaumont, up in DC, up in New York. Up in DC. And
by yourself, you ain't had no support?
Yeah, I had no support. I had my grandmoms.
No family support?
My grandmoms came to see me one time while I was there.
Okay.
And I appreciated that. But it was no family because them, my mom and pop's crackhead, other family members are not really present in our lives. Or they would never took my children, but it was my brothers and sisters. Right?
Yeah, they would have took your siblings.
Yeah. And fast forward, I'm gonna say I was 18 at the time. I got a knock on my neighbor's door, and I gotta tell you this because this is a serious part of what happened to me. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the hip hop cop.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So, in 1991, the hip hop cop wasn't really nobody. He was just a regular detective. Right. And he wind up needing to close a case that happened in Brevoort. I'm in Brownsville. I don't know nothing about Brevoort. Never been to Brevoort. Like, I'm a Brownsville kid. Like,
Brevoort's a different area.
Brevoort is in Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Okay.
So I don't know nothing about it. So he needed to close the case. So he basically came up with this scheme that it was. They said 5 people came up in the projects on motorcycles, laying dudes down or whatever the case may be, and a bullet went from inside the projects across Buffalo and Fulton through a metal security gate and a plexiglass and hit some guy in the store on the shoulder. And the guy supposedly died. And Derek Parker said he went and scoured the neighborhood. After 2 weeks, he supposedly came up with 2 witnesses. All right? And the process of him coming up with these 2 witnesses, one of them said he didn't know nobody or he never experienced, never ran, but he experienced the robbery supposedly happening in the projects.
Okay.
The other one, they went to 5 different precincts, 5 or 4 different precincts, looking for suspects because they said the dudes went across Atlantic and left going towards Brownsville or whatever the case may be. So he took this guy to several precincts, and when they got to I want to say the 73rd precinct, the guy picked me out of a photo race, supposedly, with Derek Parker in the room. Fast forward 2 years later, right? They didn't pick me up. Supposedly it was a warning card out for me. They came to the neighborhood one time, I heard, and one of the people in the neighborhood told me about they was looking for me, whatever the case may be. I brushed it off. I was like, man, I ain't do nothing. I don't know nothing about no Brevoort. Y'all bugging out. That's something I should have never done. I should have never
Ignore it.
Yes, I should have never ignored it because it was serious, and he really, really had a plan. And I'm not gonna make it a long drawn out joint.
Sometimes my ignorance.
Yes.
Just don't,
Yes.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
And so fast forward 2 years later, I'm in the Bronx because I'm not in Brooklyn no more because I don't want to deal with it. I'm like, yo, listen, these niggas playing games. I'm going to the Bronx. I'm in the Bronx. Everything going all right. I'm living my life. I'm hustling, whatever. I'm making my money. And I used to keep 2 guns in the house all the time. I'm from Brownsville. This is what we do. We keep guns on us. This is what I grew up from 12 years old. I got my first gun when I was 12. Not to go back. My godfather was powerful. I don't know if y'all know who Arkbark and Powerful is from the future in Brownsville. My godfather was Powerful, and Powerful gave me my first gun. It was a 6-shot 32. You break it in half, you put the shells in it, you put it together. I was literally 12 going on 13 when he gave this to me.
Incredible.
Right?
Instead of getting a toy, you got a real gun.
Yes, that's a fact. So I'm up in the Bronx now, living with my lady. We cool. I got 2 guns in the house. And every time before I go to bed at night, I usually take the firearms apart. Not the firearms, but the shells. I used to take the shells out of it. This one night I went to go pick my brother up from the train station. And just to my surprise, right, I didn't do what I normally do, which is unload the firearm when I came back in the house because it was late. Not be known to me, it's April Fool's Day. We playing April Fool's Day. My girl playing April Fool's Day joke. I'm playing April Fool's Day joke. Everything going smooth. The morning time, she wakes me up. Playing the April Fool's Day joke, acting like we getting robbed. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. I'm dead asleep. I wake up. Yo, listen, what's going on? So we go back and forth. She said, it's a joke. She laughing. I'm like, all right, give me this. Yo, you don't play with this. Bow! It goes off. How do you respond to...
How would you like me to respond?
See, Siri's listening to us. Ain't that something? How do you respond to something like that in that moment? How do you comprehend that someone that you love is shot and you've been taught all your life to avoid the police? Don't deal with the police. Don't show any level of communication with the police.
It's the last people you call.
It's how do I call them? How do I pick up the phone and say, this is what just happened? Me, I panic. I don't know what to do. You know, to make a long story short, I wound up doing something I should have never done, which is I removed her from this place to somewhere else. And I should have never done that. Fear is something that you can't control. You know, when something happens that dramatic and you don't know what to do, and you've never been taught what to do in a situation like that.
Yeah, you was taught different. You taught not to call the cops, not to run away from the police. They're the last person that you would tell them that. You know,
Yes,
right?
that's a fact.
The whole opposite.
Yes.
And you was what? How old you was?
I had just turned 20.
I mean, you're a young kid, man.
Yeah.
You're a young brother, man. So
Yeah.
I mean, 20 years old.
Yeah, with
You know,
sixth
so
grade.
the gun went off.
The gun went off. And I just sat there and just held her.
passed away.
She passed away. And I held her for almost, probably hours, man. Just didn't know what to do. Just sat there, you know. And eventually, you know, they came and got me, you know. And then they found out, you know what I'm saying, that I removed it, you know what I'm saying, years later, because I never could explain to them what happened, because they already had charged me with a robbery-homicide that I didn't commit. So now I have a robbery-homicide that I didn't commit, and now you're trying to, you're not trying, you're gonna give me the rest of my life in prison, because now you got that and this. Now that's gonna justify you giving me.
They putting the story together.
Right, it's gonna justify you giving me 25 to life for something I didn't do. And so before I get to the end of that, I have to say, I went to jail. They wound up convicting me of the robbery-homicide and gave me 25 to life for that.
So you
Right?
went to trial.
Yes, I went to trial because I wasn't guilty of the robbery-homicide. I didn't do it. Years later, they came and I got a lawyer, and a lawyer was able to represent me. A friend of mine, a female friend, Phyllis Jameson, I will never forget her. She's a phenomenal person. She asked me, what do I want to do, and do I want to tell my truth? And I told her, yes, I want to tell my truth. She went and got me a lawyer, right? And when she got the lawyer, I was able to then go to court and come forward and tell what happened with my son's mother. In the process of that, they wound up giving me 7.5 years for that, because it was my firearm. So they gave me a manslaughter too, because it was my firearm, and they gave me 7.5 years for that.
Concurrent or consecutive?
It was concurrent.
Okay, gotcha.
It was concurrent. And
For those that don't know what concurrent means,
Yes.
the young brothers out there, break it down. You know what I mean?
concurrent means that the 7.5 years goes inside the 25. The 25 to life supersedes the 7.5. So you go 25. But if anybody knows something about the system, when you have a case inside a case, when you go to the parole board, they just give you 2 years all the way out. You're never gonna come out. Basically, that's the plan when they do that, when they make a concurrent like that. So, to make a long story short, I was still fighting for my innocence for the case that they gave me 25 to life for, but I didn't know how to fight the case. I didn't know nobody in Brevoort. Who do I talk to? Who do I turn to? One day I'm in the yard telling my story, and I know the show is not about the cases, right? But if you don't mind, I would like to elaborate on this.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
This will change your life.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
so it has.
yes.
It's very important.
Okay. So while I'm in the yard, I'm telling guys about my innocence about the case. And one of the guys came forward and he was like, yo, I live over there. I know everybody over there. I ain't never heard nothing about no robbery or none of that stuff you talking about over there. I don't know anything about that. And I'm like, you don't know nothing about no robbery. I'm telling you, this happened in 1991. He's like, listen, I know the person you're talking about. And I can name names right now because I don't care. I'm out of sick. They don't want this to come out, right? Because they're trying to use what happened with me and my son's mother as a reason why they don't want to expose Derek Parker, right? They've been covering for this guy for a minute. You know, I got to keep it 100. You know, this has been something I've been dealing with for a long time. To make a long story short, the guy told me he knew what happened, or basically he knew the persons involved in my case, and he wanted to get me in contact with him. I said, no. You can get in contact with a lawyer. I don't want to have no interactions with this guy because they're gonna say I did something or I tainted
you're
something.
You're trying to get
Right.
no more trouble.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So make a long story short, I wound up contacting a lawyer. At the time I was contacting every innocent project. I was contacting they had crew, the convict review unit down in the DA's office, and Kenneth Thompson was taking my case at the time before he passed away, and it was supposed to really go somewhere because he'd seen my information, he'd seen everything, and he was like, listen, we need to really look into this. The next thing I know, the lawyer went there, found the dude, and the dude came clean after 24 years. 24 years. This dude wrote an affidavit on my behalf. I have the affidavit on my phone if you need to see it.
Wow.
Right? He explained what happened. He explained that Derek Parker, right, basically showed him my photo. Basically, this is the guy right here you're going to pick. Right? And the guy came forward during that time, but when I got out, the guy ran because he had other cases that he was being used in. And because he was being used in other cases, he don't want to be exposed as someone who's putting people in jail, I don't want to say snitching because if you're lying, how is it snitching if you're lying? I mean, it's like you're just lying, But I guess it's one and the same, So he didn't want to come forward for the other cases he did, like in Connecticut and Delaware. He's done other things like this. And I had two lawyers, which was Mr. Earl Ward and Richard Emery. They call Earl Ward the super lawyer. I'm from Brinkenhoff, and they was fighting for my case, and they still, to this day keep in contact with me, and we go back and forth. But you got to have the witness. And the witness is afraid to come forward because he don't want to be exposed anymore. And Derek Parker started talking about me on one podcast or something like that, and he kind of like slipped it in there and then went to the left because the DA was on him. So he figured he would, start trying to, diminish me and make me smaller in the eyes of the public, so that what he did, in the eyes of the law. So what he did, wouldn't come into fruition. So while I was in jail, I told myself, right, I went in with a 6th grade reading level and a 7th grade math level. And I knew at that time that I thought that my physicalness, because I was, on top of my game, that I could beat prison through physicality. And come to find out, I was at the low part of the totem pole in there because I didn't have the intellectual properties to deal with some of the smart people in there. So they was running circles around me. And I told myself, if I really, really, really intended to get out of jail, I had to equip myself with some tools. I wound up getting my GED. The first thing, I took like 6 guys with me, and we started studying. I wound up getting my GED in jail. That was so, empowering. Because for one, I didn't even know I was smart. Nobody ever told me I was smart, and nobody even gave me an impression that I could actually think outside of the norm. And once I started studying, I noticed that I had a propensity to be academically inclined, and I didn't know that. Which the other guys in the room with me did the same thing. So I said, this is not a one-off. It's opportunity. And because I was such a physical figure, people followed me to a degree when it came to that. So we were able to level up academically. And then I heard about they had a college in another jail. And I knew they took out the colleges in 1995. So I'm like, ain't no damn college. Where y'all got a college from? And then they was like, listen, over in Eastern, they got a college over there. So I signed up. I wound up going to Eastern. And this was the second cohort coming up in 2003. And I applied for it. And the population was 1,200 people. They probably interviewed close to 300 people, 300 and something people. They broke it down to 100. I made it in 100. They broke it down to 75. I made it in 75. They went to 25. I made it in 25. And they only took 15 out of that. So out of all those people, I made it the second cohort with 15 people. I was one of the people they picked. And that was the first time I cried in jail when they picked me. because I didn't believe that I had the goods, to compete with some of these. You had some very savvy academic minds in prison, and people downplay it as if everybody in there is dumb. Everybody in jail is not dumb.
Mm-hmm.
You have some very smart men in there,
Very smart. Mm-hmm.
right? And it was a battle. It was a battle because you don't have the tools to learn how to study, and you're still dealing with the prison life. And that's two worlds that's hard to mesh, because they're not used to you talking in a certain way, and you're not used to them scrutinizing you and analyzing you for going to school. So I had to balance it for a while, and then when I got a handle on it, I was able to excel. And I wound up taking a liking to computer science while I was in there. And I wound up studying all the way up to data structures and algorithms. I went up to Calc 2 in math. And I started building apps and web pages on an old DOS computer when they had the big, stupid boxes and stuff like that while I was in there. And I got really good at it. And I built games and everything while I was in there. And even with the police on my back, the police like looking over our shoulders to make sure we wasn't doing it. We had ways to hide information and stuff like that on the computers. I wound up learning Linux, and I wound up getting good at it. So I was able to hide my stuff. They couldn't find it. We had little boxes in there, little virtual machines that we had, and we used to push them to the side and learn. I learned computer science while I was in there. Fast forward, after the guy signed the affidavit, went to the DA's office. The DA and them told me, yo, listen, don't say nothing. My board was coming up. So I went to my first board. I didn't say nothing to the board. I just held it down because I'm thinking they're getting ready to get me out of prison. I'm thinking this is over with. They found out, they know what's going on. I'm getting ready to get out of prison.
Different, yeah.
I went to the board. They gave me 2 more years, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm performing, I'm mad. I'm writing the DA's office. Listen, I did what you said. You told me don't say nothing to the parole board. I didn't say anything. I need you to expedite what we're gonna do so I can get out of here. Make a long story short, they gave me the runaround. I never wound up getting out through that. So when I went back to the parole board the second time, I brought all the letters I was getting back and forth from the DA's office. When they told me I have a case, is valid, we're looking at it, just give us some time. I gave them the affidavit, I gave them everything. And I explained to them, I showed them the paperwork, what happened with my son's mother and everything. They let me out. They let me out of prison.
Yeah, because that must have been tough with you. I know
Yeah.
we talk about
Yeah.
how you went inside, the changes that you went through,
Yeah.
And all that. But, I mean, we ain't really get to talk about how you felt, just being in prison for your kids,
Yeah.
moms, like
Yeah.
dealing with it, just being
Yeah.
in jail for that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
family looking at you
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Your kids probably looking at you
Yeah.
weird.
Facts.
Everything is just weird because
Yeah.
it's a weird situation.
It really is. It really is.
Honestly, because,
Yeah.
imagine, you're in jail for your baby moms and
Yeah.
shit. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
When,
Yeah.
even to us, it's
Yeah.
like when we first got the information that you sent,
Yeah.
I was like, damn,
Yeah.
it must have been really tough.
No, I'm
For this brother,
thank you for
just
asking me
to-
that. Thank you.
to
Thank
be,
you.
you know, just to be dealing with that shit.
Right.
I went to jail for something I didn't do.
Right.
That bothered me for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Tom?
Yeah.
That really fucked me up. It
Yeah.
affected me. So
Yeah.
I could just imagine
Yeah. Me with that.
what you went through. Like, like you human.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak. I'd love to speak to that. So, for starters, right? You never get over that pain. You never, ever, ever forget the experience of your loved one passing away in your arms. There's no way to describe that. There's no way to alleviate that pain or to alleviate the pain of the family. You let everyone down. You're supposed to protect this person, right? And because of a joke, because they're playing a prank, they lose their life, and you're not strong enough, or you don't have the tools to comprehend that you're supposed to go into a different survival mode, right? And protect them. Instead, you protect your own self because of fear. There's nothing that can destroy you or put you in a place of lethargicness like fear. And being in prison with that, you know you're innocent of this, but you always got to deal with the fact that someone you love passed away because of your firearm being in the house. If I never had that firearm in the house, this would have never transpired. That's one thing I could never get around. It was my firearm, you know? And when you're in prison with that, you know you're innocent. You know this was an accident. There's nothing that you can do to change the accident. But it's something you can do to change your innocence. Because the pieces are still there for you to do it. With the accident, there's no pieces you can pick up to fix. Only thing you could do is try your best to become something great for this person, for yourself, for my son. I didn't get an opportunity to speak to my son till I came home. I mean, see him verbally. I spoke to him in jail once or twice.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I spoke to him in jail once or twice. And this is, again, through my friend. She went out her way to try to make sure I had a relationship with him. And I knew that for him, it was so emotional because his family members would never be able to comprehend anytime him having any relationship with me because they
whole
never
situation.
Right, because of that. That's their loved one.
Absolutely.
No matter whether it was accident or not.
You still get the blame.
That's right. It's my fault. And I can't atone for that with the family members.
Yeah, you got to hold that.
You know, there's no way to get around that. The only thing you could do is become a better person. Show through your actions that their feelings of you, right, is not in vain. Meaning that I can understand your pain. Let me do everything I can in my power to show you that I'm not the person you think I am or that you portrayed me to be. And it started with my son. It started with me trying to connect with him, trying to show him that you have a dad that has prepared himself. You don't have a dad that went into jail and became an animal. And I can assure you, I walked to the edge of the abyss while I was in there. And I had an opportunity. I had to look down at the edge of the abyss and I had to say to myself, do I drop down on all fours and become an animal, or do I stand up on 2 feet and become a man? And for me, when I turned away from the edge of the abyss, I started walking back towards civilization in my mind. And I seen ants, and I seen rodents, and I seen tumbleweeds, and I started seeing grass, and I started running back. And when I came back to the reality, I still was in a prison cell because I heard that noise. That's what woke me up out of my catatonic state. But from that point forward, I knew that I was not an animal. I wasn't what everybody tried to portray me to be. I was none of the above. An accident happened, and I failed the test. But I had the opportunity to correct my actions going forward.
Facts.
So the biggest part was connecting with my son. And
So you came home and connected with him.
I came home immediately and found him and talked to him and told him what happened, showed him the paperwork. This is what happened. This is what's going on. So you don't have to think about whatever they told you happened. Let me show you so you can read it yourself.
Show you the facts.
Right. And from that, we developed a nice bond. And
How old is he?
he's 32 now.
Okay.
My son is, yes, I'm 53. I look a little young, but I'm 53 years old. And it's
Good
come
God.
from me working out and stuff while I was in prison. I took very good care of myself. I studied anatomy for 7 years. So I kind of like, know how, what I'm saying, nutrition and stuff like that works on a different level. But my relationship with him is really, really, really deepened, and we respect and enjoy each other now, and he told me something that I will never forget. He said, I didn't know what type of man you would be, but I'm grateful for the man you've become. And I will never forget that, And he tells me all the time he's proud of me for what I've been doing since I've been out of jail.
That should be a great feeling.
Yeah, it is.
You know what
It
I'm saying?
is.
Just
It
to
is.
have that relationship with them and all that.
It is. It is.
Because, you know,
Yeah.
it just didn't start right.
Yes. It started very wrong.
But the good thing is that you have the opportunity to make it right.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because as long as you got life and you living and you good.
Yeah.
So tell me a few things about the few things you have done when you was incarcerated. You talked about
Right.
what you worked on. What are the
Okay.
goals that you accomplished while you was incarcerated?
I got my paralegal certificate. I was in there. I did substance abuse counseling for those that had narcotics. You know what I'm saying? And I did not a lot of narcotics intervention with a lot of the guys in there.
Okay.
I did peer counseling for HIV. People that had HIV, I went in there and basically catered to, you know what I'm saying, their lifestyle and try to show them different ways, you know what I'm saying, to protect themselves even while they're in the stages of, you know what I'm saying, being positive for HIV. Also, while I was in there, I wound up accumulating 174 college credits.
Okay.
I wrote a book called Our Sons and Daughters, which is coming out in approximately 2 months.
Okay.
It's a drama suspense.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's a drama suspense.
Hopefully we get a copy. We could put it up
Yes,
here with
totally.
the collections.
Also, I wrote a book since I've been home, right? Detailing my educational walkthrough while I was in prison, and how the best techniques to use is called 12 Steps to Uncaged Freedom. It's called Raising My Inner Male. 12 Steps towards Uncaged Freedom, which I have right here. I do have a copy for you. That's a fact.
There we go.
I got a copy for you. All right, I got a copy for you guys.
Appreciate it.
And for me, it was walking everyone through when you don't think you have the tools because you never even tried. You know, and then when you try and you apply yourself, you see that you have more than anybody could think. And while I was in there, you know, after I built a game also for kids. I got to tell you about this game that I built, right? They wouldn't let me take it out. The game was based upon teaching the kids about vegetable fruits and bananas and stuff like that, right? And it's a garden maze. I call it garden maze. The caveat of the game is for every point you make or every point you get, it equates to some type of financial income called VegComs that you could use in any kiosk across New York City, right? On any green garden cart, right? And you can take that and basically, it's like a little credit card you get for kids from 8 to 14-year-olds that they can go any bodega, any store, and buy fruits and vegetables by playing the game because they're going to use screen time anyway. So if you're going to use screen time, then why not use screen time to get a healthy eating? Especially during the pandemic when everybody was eating everything and just destroying themselves. I really wanted to redo the game. I wanted to rebuild it. So I had an opportunity to present it at a public health fair just recently. I have a prototype and a template of the game. But my passion is in computer science. Right now I'm taking a course in generative AI. It's 300 and something people in the class. I'm in the top 10% of the class. AI is big right now. And it's something that I'm really, really super on because of my computer science background is helping me. I can honestly say that if we don't catch up with AI and we don't catch up with learning how to teach our kids to segue into this field, we lost as a race. I'm being honest with you. And people don't got to respect it when I'm saying it, but I'm telling you it's the truth. They just put $500 billion into AI on April 15th. Google put an additional $300 billion into it, and the Euro just put an additional $200 billion. That's $1 trillion they just put into it within the last 4 months, 5 months tops, right? And we're not paying attention to it. This thing is like when the internet came out back in the 90s.
Shit just growing on the low.
Right. When the internet came back in the 90s and everybody was onto it, right? Those that actually did something about it actually were able to prosper and learn and grow. Now we're at a stage where it's happening again. And if we don't catch up and we don't do the things that we need to do, we're gonna totally be on a lower part of the totem pole like we are right now. So I've been teaching classes. I've been teaching students at a spot that I was working for, which is Project Echo. I was a program developer there. I have built numerous programs since I've been home already. And one of them was the ChatGPT, teaching students how to use ChatGPT, not just for papers and schoolwork, but using how to automate it for your emails, automate it for Canva, automate it for all these different platforms that's out there so that you can enhance, you know what I'm saying, your worth. And I've been teaching these kids. I make these kids build web pages in 3 sessions, literally in 3 sessions using ChatGPT and Replit.com. And I make them build web pages based upon community needs, something they think that the community may need. And I've been doing that now for the last 2 years.
Good shit.
Before that, I was working at Second Chance Studios with Cars Monte, and I was their program manager there. And I had a cohort of 15 people, and we was paying them $25 an hour for 35 hours a week, off of donated funds from different institutions like Schusterman and stuff like that. And my job was to usher them into digital media marketing, podcasts, and short films and documentaries. And several of them got hired at different cinematographer spots, and 1 or 2 of them got hired at MTV.
Okay.
And so, you know, I didn't come out to play games. I didn't come out to sit down or to be comfortable. I came out here so that nobody would have to survive what I survived that come into my presence if I can help it.
Facts.
And
That's what it's about.
yeah, and before that, my first job out of jail was working for the New York City Health and Hospitals, where I had to administer to all the COVID. I was a public health advisor too, right? Contact tracer. And they gave me the job and initially took the job from me. I had to get the DA's office to write a letter on my behalf and my lawyers to write a letter on my behalf so that I can get the job. Because, you know, they don't take anyone that has felonies. You know, so I had, you know, that itself, you know what I'm saying, speaks volumes to how much they believe in, you know.
It's your work.
Yeah, my worth. And they didn't have to write those letters on my behalf.
Absolutely.
You know.
Shit, they never really do either. So
right, rarely.
It's a great thing that you got that done.
Yes, and so, you know, I had the opportunity to also work for the new school, Art of Design. I was an adjunct lecturer professor. When I came out after 8 months, I was actually teaching in a college, and I was teaching technology and Bell Hook's book, is it Transgressing to Learning?
Okay.
And we was combining the two so they can get the cultural, ethnical part of our culture along with technology, which we was using P5JS.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna get into the technical side about it, but it's a different platform of processing that you can build things on.
I got you.
And it was a diverse group from all over the world: Indonesia, Pakistan, China, Korea. You know, I had a diverse group of students.
Wow.
And to this day, I'm still in contact with most of them. So now, you know, I'm just ready to level up. And for me, the biggest thing is virtual reality. And I have to say this to you guys, and I hope that, you know, on your platform that you can find people to champion this. They took secondary education out of schools, right, which is vocational training. These kids have figured it out. Once you put them in a pandemic for 24 months and let them know that they didn't have to go to school, right, that they can use their phone all day long and smoke weed all day long for 24 months. And now you telling them after that, right, they have to go to school for 8 hours a day and be babysitted. These kids are like, no, thank you. I pass. So we have to be more innovative and more savvy in how we attack their mental state when it comes to education. One of them is,
I agree.
One of them is bring back vocational training, and you can do it through MetaQuest. The problem is, I partnered with a company called Transfer R, right? But they want almost $8,000 to $9,000 per VR, which is the program to teach electric vehicles, which is EV, cosmetology, construction, welding, plumbing, robotics, nursing. They can learn all of this stuff through virtual machines. And then you transition them into hands-on liaisons that can actually, you know what I'm saying, give them the last level of training they need. And no one wants to sponsor that. Because for them, it's too high of a price. You mean to tell me no one can talk to someone in Google or in one of these so that we can get some level of I don't want to say help, because that's a bad word to use, but can we get a level playing field so that we're not paying $7,000-$8,000 for one MetaQuest? They want to charge me $27,000 for 3 of them. But don't get me wrong. I can train 3 kids 4 times a day, but it shouldn't be like that. Why we can't get this cost down so that I can train 10 to 12 kids 3 to 4 times a day?
I got you.
And so that's where I'm at with it when it comes to what I'm doing right now. And
You focus, man.
Yes.
Been home 5 years.
Yes.
Anything you want to ask him? I want to ask you in regards to prison reform.
Mm-hmm.
Think it's needed?
It's not only needed, man. It's our community. Those are our sons, uncles, brothers, fathers. And they're turning them into animals. Like literally, they may come in rough around the edges. 40% of them may come around rough around the edges, right? But when you got almost 50% of the population is taking medication, right? And then you putting them in beside people that are trying to do right or trying to change their lives around. What type of outcome do you expect? If you ever seen a medication line in prison, right? It looked like someone's giving away free lunch.
I just want to jump in there because
Yes.
you spoke about your reform when you were in prison,
Right.
different things that you were able to do with yourselves. One of the things is 2 different things. You have self-accountability and then you have self-blame,
Yes.
right? So when we hold ourselves accountable, in many instances, we begin to do the introspective analysis of some of the things that we have going on, and as a side effect, we take control of what lies in front of us, right? So you spoke to how you went and you took the GED,
Right.
how you went in this program and you went through the admissions process and you were part of 300, then 100, then 75, then 20, and so on and so forth, right? So we want to be careful about, in one instance, giving an example of an individual who took agency over
Right.
their success, while at the same time, then we begin indicting individuals in DOCCS for
Right.
putting people on medication lines, right?
Right.
So there's a delicate balance that you have to toe, and I want to make sure that you're able to explain what
Yes.
you're saying so you
Yes.
don't come across on the platform as if you're contradicting yourself.
Okay, I
right?
got you.
So again, we want to speak about how you can take your agency
Right.
and then allow yourself to become successful.
Okay.
While at the same time, you could find yourselves struggling with depression, suicide, and adverse childhood experiences that creep up on you inside of that set of circumstances because you have so much time to just think, as opposed to, get around individuals that can assist you. Because sometimes people get on medication and that medication allow them to recover from whatever it is
Yes.
that they're struggling with, right? Then they find themselves in GED class or inside of some kind of college program or some kind of vocational program. So there are different ways that you could balance that out. But one of the things we like to talk about here on Dog in the Yard is how individuals had that beacon moment, that moment of awakening.
Got it.
Right? So we know that there's a lot of problems in many of the prison systems, whether it's in New York City jails, whether it's in New York state prisons or other state prisons or federal prisons, to add that in, right? But what we also want to begin to think about is how we give young people the tools on the inside, because whether we like it or not, individuals on the inside get to watch Dog in the Yard in whatever way they do.
Got it.
Right? And the young people on the outside who are
Facts.
actually struggling right now with the School of Prisons pipeline, right? We want to give them the tools so that they don't make it to prison. Right? We want to talk about some of those things that you did.
Got it.
Right? And maybe
Got
just
it.
give us one.
Okay,
One
totally.
thing that
Totally.
allowed you to not end up on that line, because
Right.
they're going to give you the drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a
And
fact.
so many different individuals are trying to escape. So if you could give us one thing,
Right.
right, that you did, right, then kind of attach it to how prison reform, because you said you're with
Gotcha.
prison reform,
Totally.
how prison reform can enhance that or
Got
open
it.
up the opportunities for individuals to be able to have access to maybe something that you did or something you
Got
know
it.
somebody else did,
Got it.
and then bring us to society and tell us what you did out here.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Thank you for that.
You know that.
That segue.
That's why we here.
Yes. I think the beacon for me was knowing that I was going to be in prison for a long time if I didn't level up intellectually, right? And for a lot of people that I encountered, they wanted to level up. You know, a lot of guys, you know, I would say majority of guys that I spoke to, they're fearful of education. They fear going into the education and looking bad or feeling like they're inadequate with people watching them. They don't want to stutter in class. They don't want to mispronounce words. They don't want to be in a place where people are going to judge them to think that they're not smart. And that was one of the reasons why I wrote the book right here. The reason why I wrote this book right here is a 12-step guide of all those inadequacies and everything that I experienced while I was in there trying to level up intellectually, and all my fears and everything that I felt was wrong with the educational system while I was in jail. Right? I had an opportunity to walk through it and explain to them that you can think that you're not capable, but if you try, you will find out that you are.
Facts.
And it's breaking into them and letting them know it's okay to get a word wrong. It's okay to have people chuckle at you if you mispronounce something. It's okay to not know how to do math.
Facts.
But try.
What's the remedy?
The remedy
When it
is,
gets hard, what do?
I have a workbook. I have a workbook coming out for this as well. That's free as well. This one is not free. This is $12.99. The workbook is going to be free. This, listen, I will pay people in jail if I could to read this book right here. I'm being honest with you.
So let me challenge you.
Yes.
Because I asked you,
Yes.
what do they do? You didn't tell me. You told me
When
about
you
the
say
workbook.
what do they do?
Because remember, like I said, the young
Right.
guys are looking at this. And
Right.
They need a tool.
They need a tool.
So-
I'm giving them the tool. Let's make
So,
sure we're
so
clear
I'm
on
gonna
that.
I'm gonna stop you again.
Okay,
right?
help me.
You know, I'm gonna help you out because this is
All
what
right.
we do, right?
Yes,
you my
yes,
man,
yes,
right?
yes.
Right? We've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
So what I did,
Mm-hmm.
right, when I entered, when I started facilitating transitional services and
Okay.
ART and ASAT,
Right.
and facilitating the YAP, the Youth Assistance Program,
Yes,
and
yes.
then I got into college, is that when things got hard,
Mm-hmm.
I identified individuals in the community that I can go to ask to help me. Right?
Mentorship.
Right. So when a word was difficult for me, I went over and I said, "Yo, bro, listen, this calculus problem, this function,
Right.
it's mad difficult. I was up
Right.
last night for a long time trying to figure it out, and I
Yeah.
can't get the answer to it.
Got it.
Yo, can you sit with me for an hour or so
Yes.
so we can kind of go over this?"
Yes.
That's what I did.
Right.
And as a side effect, as I tell people all the time, BX Tone ain't have no board of advisors.
Right.
So it was just crash time.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't like the way this feel. We're going to get right.
Yeah.
Hashem got a board of advisors. This don't feel good. So you know what I'm doing? I'm calling Pete. Yo, Pete. Yo, I know you've been doing the podcast thing for a minute. Yo, bro, can you kind of explain that to me?
Fact.
Because
Right.
this is a little complicated and I can't wrap my mind around it. And then Peter be like, yo, I got you.
Yep.
I'm busy right now, but I'm going to call you back in like an hour and we're going to go over that. Boom. So
like
that's
that.
what I'm saying. So it's about as community organizers and community and public health professionals, we're about building communities, right?
Then-
But building community is rooted in health communication.
Got
Like,
it.
how do we communicate with one another in a way to say that I'm hurting?
I like to respond
I'm
to that.
confused.
Yeah, I like- yeah.
Without a doubt. No, I'm throwing it
Yeah,
back to you,
yeah, I
but
like-
just
I
wanted to
love
give you a
that.
little bit of
I love
context of
that.
what I was thinking
Yeah.
about because I know you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? I
Yeah.
know you did it. I know
Yeah.
you're doing it. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to give
Yeah.
you an opportunity to talk to it.
Well, one of the things that I like what you said, what is the transition for the mentor? Where do they get these mentors from? Or when do they get these people that they can access, right? One thing we do know, they have those kiosks now in there.
That's right.
One of the things I would love to see, right, is a cadre of people signing up for volunteer work, right, that they can call or talk to online for mentorship, right? Like if they're looking for mentorship that they can go back and forth with online, that people could just sign up, a whole list of people that could sign up online, and that they can actually utilize this wealth of talent out here to help them transition into their educational, fields that they like. But you have a kiosk there, and if they're assigned a mentor or assigned someone that can assist them right through there, that would be super, super dope, because when I'm out here and I need somebody, right, I can just go online to different mentorship groups and find someone that can help me. Like even with my generative AI class that I'm taking right now, when I don't know something, I go on to Slack or something like that, and I'm able to find a group and I can ask them, yo, listen, I'm struggling with these packages right here. I can't put them together and I'm not getting my results. They'll come in and just chime in and just tell me. They don't have access to that.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
So they're going to use what they say security as a reason why, right? They shouldn't have this platform. But at some point, you know how to secure the platform, because they secure every other platform that comes out. So they can secure that platform if need be, right? They can vet whoever volunteers and still have a good cadre of people that they can go to, so that they don't have to feel awkward about going to their peers in jail that may judge them.
But see, the thing about it is, right, in every instance, and for me, as I was studying and I was looking to level myself up in the workout, when I wanted to lift heavy, like I knew bros that was lifting heavy, so I went to them like, yo, can I get down with that workout?
Got it.
They became my mentors, right? So I get my bench up to 405 or whatever it might have been, right?
Yeah.
When I wanted to ball a little bit better, I knew the dude that had the crazy crossover and the dunk in the jail. Yo, bro, I know y'all be out there playing ball. Yo, I want to come out with y'all.
Facts.
Right? Yo, I know y'all doing crazy pull-ups. I'm trying to come out and get on the pull-up bar with y'all. Like, so that's what I'm speaking about, right? Like, just thinking about ways that individuals could tap into communities right around us, right? Individuals that's on the outside, right? The young guys that's on the outside that don't want the street life no more, don't want to be battling with the ops, right? Where do you go, right? Tap into the guy in the hood that you see he going to work every day. Yo, listen, bro, I know you go back and forth to work every day. Yo, can I just ask you a question? Right? Tap in. All the resources are sitting right around us, and then we begin, once we build up that confidence and that trust, because we, in a lot of instances inside the communities we come from, we begin to lose trust. So when we begin to trust the people that are around us, that who we see doing the right thing, then we can have that greater amount of trust too, where we're able to tap into different platforms for other types of mentors, right? And we have to get past. So it's about, what's the title of your book?
Raising My Inner Male.
Right. It's about raising your inner male. It's about building your emotional intelligence, understanding that saying you don't know is a part of being mature, right? Because every mature individual need to know what he know and need to know what he don't know. Because when you know what you don't know, you know when it's time to start asking questions to people who know. So it's just about tapping into our community, the communities we have right around us, and building that trust, having that level of resiliency in you. And if you don't have resilience in you, you know that individuals in your community who are winning are the individuals you need to be looking at, you need to be tapping into. Raise your inner male. Got my boy Dejohn here. Now tell us about what you done did since you've been out here, bro.
Sheesh, man. Listen, man, I don't know I don't think what I haven't done.
There you go.
What I haven't done.
Busy.
Yes, super busy. I've been cohort after cohort of children, adults, kids, just enlightening them, mentoring them, taking them to the next stage, taking them to the next level in life. Just basically giving them a well-rounded approach of how to level up. Like when it comes to, like I deal with a lot of justice impacted youth.
Got you.
And like I have built workbooks for them, DJ and engineering, events and promotions, computer science, I want to say computer science and ChatGPT because they're both one and the same. So I actually teach courses in computer science as well.
Where you teach them
at Project Echo, and right now I'm at the Guard Squad right now. I teach SYEP, which is the Summer Youth Employment Program. So I got maybe 60, 70 kids that I'm actually assisting right now over there.
Got you.
At Project Echo, maybe around 30, 40 kids over there that I was assisting through, I'm with CMS. I was dealing with the crisis management system in New York City.
Right.
I deal with a lot of gangs.
Got you.
So basically, I don't try to tell them to stop being a gangbanger. What I explain to them is, you're next up. And if you're next up, right, what does it look like under your tutelage? How are you going to level them up? I said, when gangs started back in the days, it started because they was trying to protect the community. They was trying to get financial prosperity for their communities. I said, what does the gang look like under you when you give them the green light, when it's your turn to run it? Do you want them being gophers? Do you want them to be runarounds under your boot? Or do you want them to be thinkers and entrepreneurs that can actually help the community and help you grow whatever it is you're trying to do, because you're next up? And when I explain to them that, and I explain to them that I'm not trying to take them from where they're at, I'm trying to help them develop what they're doing. I have a different connection and a different bond with them when that happens, because the light bulb goes off in their head. And now they start seeing, yo, wow, I do got 4 or 5 dudes up under me. What am I teaching them? What am I giving them?
Right.
So I prepare them to give something other than orders.
Got you. Yo, listen, my man Dejohn believes in prison reform, right? He's a product of the prison environment, a positive product of the prison environment. Now he's back in community.
That's right.
Giving it up to the youth.
That's
participating. Right. You know what I'm saying? He wrote his book, Raising Your Inner Male. He got workbooks. He got series. He's doing the work. Yo, Dejohn, tell him how to get in contact with you, bro.
You can contact me at DejohnHuffman1@gmail.com, or you can go online. It's Dejohn_man. And you can get my book on Amazon. It's called Raising My Inner Male, 12 Steps Towards Uncaged Freedom. And I also do consultancy when it comes to ChatGPT or any AI. So contact me. And my number is 347-671-1553. And that is my business number. You can call anytime.
Yo, BX Tone, dog of the yard. I pass it to my big bro,
Yo,
Pistol Pete. Talk
man.
to him.
Man, with that being said, man, you already know we out of here. Salute to you, my brother. Keep doing your thing. That's how we
Big
doing.
bro, Dejohn.
Dog in the yard.
That's a
Dog
fact.
in the yard. This is what we do. This is what this platform is about. And that's what we do. And with that being said, we out of here, man. Blessings. What up? You already know it's your boy Pistol P. Welcome back to Dog in the Yard. First and foremost, I want to thank Dejohn Huffman for coming through. Shout out to Brooklyn. Dejohn is out here doing greatness. I mean, he's out here changing lives. I'm happy that he was able to come on the platform, was able to express how he felt about his situation, that as far as him and his baby moms and what he went to jail for and all that, he was able to express that and put that past him. Now he's out here doing greatness, encouraging the youth. He's also an author, Raising My Inner Male. You know what I'm saying? You can also cop that on Amazon. It's out there on your platforms. Listen, man, this is what it's about, man. It's about giving these brothers and sisters the voice they never had. You know what I'm saying? And I feel happy with that. And with that being said, you already know it's your boy Pistol Pete, Dog in the Yard.